Good morning, children. Today we are going to discuss about the female reproductive system main parts. Yesterday we discussed about ovaries and fallopian tubes, the primary sex organs of the female ovaries. They are very what you call different in structure, complex in structure. So the ovaries performs a dual role like that we discussed. The production of female gametes, secretion of female sex hormones, estrogen, progesterone, like that we discussed in yesterday, right? And also ovulation, like that we discussed. Next about fallopian tube also we discussed. These are the pain tubes originating from uterus, one of either side. Fallopian tubes extend up to the ovary of the respective sides, like that we discussed. Okay, fibri is there which collects the eggs, like that we discussed in the previous class. Okay, from this class what we are going to discuss is number one, the female reproductive system. What we are going to discuss, the female reproductive system, especially in that uterus we are going to discuss. What we are going to discuss? Uterus. So uterus is a single and pear shaped. Okay, pear shaped, highly muscular, hollow structure. Highly muscular, hollow structure. Okay, so uterus is single, pear shaped, highly muscular, hollow structure lying between, where it is present between or lying between the pelvic cavity, like lying between the urinary bladder and rectum. So present in the pelvic cavity, lying between the urinary bladder and rectum. Once again, uterus, a single pear shaped, highly muscular, hollow structure, okay, which is present in the pelvic cavity, lying between urinary bladder and rectum. So development of fetus occurs inside the uterus. So what is the function of, what is the main role of uterus? Fetus is there or not? Development of fetus occurs inside the uterus, hence it is also called womb. What do you call it? It is called womb. So the narrow lower part of the uterus is called cervix. The narrower or narrow, what do you call? The narrower lower part of uterus is called cervix, which leads into vagina. So once again, uterus, single pear shaped, highly muscular, hollow structure present in the pelvic cavity, lying between urinary bladder and rectum. Development of fetus occur inside the uterus, hence it is called womb. The narrower lower part of uterus is called cervix, which leads to vagina. So like this, the uterus is there. We will call womb. So uterus is very useful for the implantation of embryo and what you call development of fetus, formation of placenta, umbilical cord, and gestation, complete gestation period will be happens or will takes place in the uterus. So uterus is a vast and very useful what you called important part in the female reproductive system. Next, vagina. It's a tube what you call which the about 7 to 10 centimeters length. 7 to 10 centimeters length. During intercourse, the penis ilke is inserted into vagina for the discharge of the sperms. So during intercourse sexual activities, the penis inserted into vagina, discharge of the sperms. It is also called, hence it is also called very very important vagina for the discharge. Vagina acts as a birth canal. It is acts as the birth canal for the parturition. So the process is called the fetus delivery is called what you call parturition. Very very important concept. Okay, this one is you have to remember. Next, and also serves as a passage for menstrual flow. Passage for menstrual flow. So this vagina not only acts for the birth canal and also passage for the menstrual flow. Once again, vagina, it's a tube-like structure. The 7 to 10 centimeters length. During intercourse, penis inserted into the vagina and discharge of sperms will be takes place. And it is also called It is also useful as a birth canal parturition. So developed embryo will be come out through this canal, this vagina only, and also it is helpful for the passage for menstrual flow. Passage for menstrual flow. So very important. Different types of what you call reactions will be takes place at the time of parturition. Reflexes, oxytocin hormone, very important hormone, which plays a very important role at the time of the parturition. At the time of the parturition, the oxytocin hormone is plays a vital role that will come in the next year, but you should remember these points. Next, fertilization. So, internal, what is a fertilization? General meaning what? Combination of male and female gametes is called fertilization, right? Fertilization is internal. What is the meaning of internal? Fertilization is internal. So, then the male and female gametes join together in the inside of the body. When the male and female gametes joined inside of the body, in the sense, such kind of fertilization is called internal fertilization. So millions of the sperms. So that is important. The sperms produced in testes of male are transferred into the vagina. So millions of the sperms, testes produce sperms or not, they will transfer into the vagina. So this is the important. Okay, female through penis during intercourse. Several millions of sperms. How many? Millions of sperms are released during a single ejaculation. So one time ejaculation, millions of sperms will be released. So they will be go to the which one? Fertilization takes place inside the where? Fertilization takes place in the inside of fallopian tube. The fertilization will be takes place inside of the fallopian tube. So sperms received by vagina travel to the egg. So sperms received by vagina will travel to the egg or ovum that is present adjacent to the fallopian tube. So that point also you should have to remember. Sperms received by vagina travel to the egg present in fallopian tube by the lashing movement of their tail. How sperms can move? They will use their tail to move towards to the egg, lashing movement of the tail. So even millions of sperms, but a single sperm enter into the egg. So how many sperms will enter into the egg? A single sperm and enter into the egg, then fusion of nucleus, egg nucleus, sperm nucleus fusion, then single cell zygote will be formed. So single cell zygote will be formed after completion of the fertilization. What do you call? Single cell zygote will be formed. Then the zygote undergoes repeated which divisions? Mitotic divisions, cleavages. Then what will be developed? So there will be embryo will be formed. So specialized tissue, again one more important, embryo will be formed. A specialized after 8 to 9 days. This one is important. 8 to 9 days after. How many days? 8 to 9 days after a specialized tissue of the fetus. Okay, fertilized specialized tissue of fetus and uterine wall. Specialized tissue of the fetus and uterine wall of the mother will togetherly produces very important structure that is called placenta. So uterine wall of the mother, fetus and both together produce which one? Very important structure that is called placenta. Placenta is a physiological connection between an embryo. Okay, physiological connection between embryo and the uterine wall of the mother. Physiological connection between an embryo and the uterine wall. So what is the use of placenta? Transports the nutrients and other useful substances to fetus from mother's blood. What is the function of placenta? Transports the nutrients and other useful substances fetus from mother to blood. Mother to blood. What is that? What is the function of the placenta? Transports the useful substances from fetus from mother blood to fetus, and also urea. Very important points. Listen. Urea, carbon dioxide expelled into the from fetus to into the mother's blood. So umbilical cord, very important. Another important one, umbilical cord. Okay, this is also very helpful for the what is called waste will be come out through the umbilical cord. Okay, next, so umbilical cord also plays a vital role for the release of waste materials. Okay, umbilical arising from the embryo abdomen serves as a what you called link between the embryo and the placenta. So the umbilical cord, very important word, the umbilical cord, okay, arising from embryo's abdomen. So air from umbilical cord is coming embryo's abdomen. It serves as a link between embryo and placenta. Embryo and placenta. So now the complete development. How many days required for the development of fetus? So that complete development of fetus from the initial stage to conception till the birth of the young one is called initial stage to what you called till the birth. That embryo is called, that period is called gestation, and that is also in other terminology we can call what you call pregnancy. So gestation is completed about how many days for gestation to complete? 280 days or 40 weeks. So later the pains will be started, that is called labor pains. Parturition is the expelling out fully term young one from the mother's uterus is the end of gestation. Parturition means fully formed fetus is there or not. It will be expelled out from the mother's uterus is there, in the sense that is called parturition. Okay, children. So tomorrow's class again we will discuss what sexual cycle, menstrual cycle, what is menarche. Starting of menstrual cycle is called menarche, and the end of the menstrual cycle is called menopause. Those two we will be discussing the what is called tomorrow's class. Once again, should listen very carefully about this particular concept. This is female reproductive system. So next part we are discussing. What is the next part? So uterus. Uterus is a single pear-shaped, highly muscular hollow structure. Single pear-shaped, highly muscular hollow structure present in the pelvic cavity, lying between the urinary bladder and rectum. Urinary bladder and rectum. So development of fetus occurs inside the uterus. Okay, development of fetus occur inside the uterus, hence it is also called womb. The narrower lower part of uterus is called cervix, which leads to vagina. So up to here clear. Next, the vagina tube is 7 to 10 centimeters in length. So at the time of intercourse, the penis will insert into the vagina to discharge the sperms. So vagina not only acts as a what is called birth canal at the time of parturition, and also passage for menstrual flows also. Next, fertilization is internal. If the male and female gametes fertilization takes place inside of the body, that is called fertilization. So millions of sperms will be released at the time of ejaculation, single ejaculation. Okay, but only one sperm reaches the single sperm enter into the egg. So inside of the fallopian tube, ovum will be there and adjacent to the fallopian tube. So the egg and the sperm togetherly produce what? When the single sperm enter into the egg, zygote will be formed. So single sperm enter into the egg in the sense that is leads to what? Zygote. So from there onwards, blastocyst, okay, blastomeres, marula, okay, like that, embryo, okay, fetus, like the different terms we will use from which time after fertilization. So fertilization is external also will be there. If the male and female gametes will be takes fertilization, if the male and female gametes join outside of the body, in the sense that is called what you call outside fertilization. Very dangerous outside fertilization. So many problems are there because predators will come and will finish that embryo. So outside fertilization is dangerous. Why? Because no protection, but inside fertilization is very useful. So after fertilization, how many days? 8 to 9 days after mitotic division will be takes, zygote will be involved in the mitotic division, cleavages, embryo will be stored. After 8 to 9 days, specialized tissue of fetus and the uterine wall of the mother togetherly form which one? Placenta. So specialized tissue of fetus and uterine wall of the mother togetherly one structure form, that is called placenta 8 to 9 days after. So placenta is a physiological connection between an embryo and the uterine wall of the mother. Physiological connection between the embryo and uterine wall of the mother. What's the use of placenta? That is important. So the placenta mainly useful to supply the nutrients and other useful substances from mother's blood to fetus. What is the function of the placenta? Nutrients and other useful substances from mother's blood to fetus, they will be sent. Next, urea and carbon dioxide expel into the mother. So fetus will be released as the waste. What are the waste fetus will be released? Urea and carbon dioxide. Urea and carbon dioxide expelled into the mother's blood. Okay, through placenta only. Next, umbilical cord. Umbilical cord from embryo's abdomen it will be formed. Another important connecting link. What is that connecting link? Umbilical cord. Umbilical cord, another connecting link between the embryo's abdomen. Okay, it will to mother's uterus. It serves as a link between embryo and placenta. So it is also link between the embryo and the placenta. Umbilical cord is the link between embryo and the placenta. So like that, one more link is also there, umbilical cord. Next, come to gestation period. What is gestation period? So at the time of fertilization to until the formation of fully developed fetus, how many days it will take place? The total period will be called, what do you call the total period is called gestation. In other term, we will call that particular area, that particular period is called pregnancy. So nearly it will be 280 days to or 40 weeks. How many days? 280 days or what you called 40 weeks. So different animals have have different gestation periods. Dog have one gestation period, elephant have gestation period 365. So nearly one animal have one gestation period will be there. But here what I am telling is, here especially the human gestation period, what is that? Human gestation period nearly 28 280 days or 40 weeks. Later the fully formed fetus or fully formed fetus will be expelled out through the birth canal. So that process is called expel out from the uterus through the birth canal. That process is called parturition. Here parturition reflex will be takes place. Especially most important one hormone you can remember, oxytocin. Remember this hormone in future, it will be very useful. Oxytocin. Okay, what is that hormone name? Oxytocin. Very useful. Oxytocin is very useful at the time of the parturition. It will create the labor pains. Okay, pains will become to expel the fully developed fetus from the uterus through vaginal canal will be takes place because of that oxytocin virus. Oxytocin enzyme. Okay, sorry, hormone. Oxytocin hormone. What is that? Oxytocin is a hormone. Okay, so next there will be next concept what menstrual cycle will be there. So sexual cycle or menstrual cycle will be there. So what is this? There will be sperm is releasing, egg is releasing, like that we are saying. But how and how many stages will be there to release that egg? What is menarche? What is menopause? Like that, the different concepts will be there in the next video. Next video we will be discuss what is the sexual cycle or menstrual cycle, what is menarche, what is menopause, such kind of what you call the female reproductive system related concepts we will be discuss in the next class. So what are the neat bits here? What is the length of the vagina, and what is the function of uterus, and what is the when the which day, how many days after the placenta will form, what is the function of placenta, what is the when the from which part umbilical cord will be formed. Okay, abdominal embryo's abdomen, and what is the function of the placenta, and what is the gestation period, how many days or how many weeks, which hormone are full for the parturition. So what is menarche, what is menopause, starting of menstrual cycle menarche, the end of menstrual cycle is called menopause. These many concepts are there to discuss. We will discuss in the next class. Okay, children.